For this assignment, we are going to build a grape theme. So the supplies that you're going to need for this assignment are as follows. First, you're going to need some sort of plastic lid or a plastic plate. Another thing you're going to need is these acrylic alcohol inks or any kind of alcohol ink. You can get these at your local arts and crafts store. You can also get it on Amazon. I'm using citrus, sunshine yellow, and an earthstone, which is like a darker green. Next thing you're going to need is a basic UV sculpting gel. Polish will not work. It has to be a clear, either extra thick or builder sculpting gel, not a gel polish. Another thing you're going to need is a pencil. You also are going to use, you have two options. You can use one of your nail art sticks, make sure it is clear. You can also use one of the full well tips stuck on a stand. That's also fine as well. You're going to need to have a stirring stick. A coffee stirrer, orange wood stick would also be fine. You're going to need a dampening dish or some sort of little dish with 70% isopropyl alcohol. You're going to need a UV LED top coat, clear. You're going to use two different brushes. I'm going to be using a detail brush, works well. It can be short or long, just not too long. And then this one is a size 4 triangular brush, which will work good. And I also have a lint-free wipe just to get any excess off my brush. Another thing that you will be using, if you can find, is a brown or dark color tone UV gel polish. And I'm going to take a little bit of this clear, it could be either builder gel or it can be an extra thick, but it has to be a hard sculpting gel. You cannot use gel polish for this at all. It has to be a hard gel or a sculpting gel. Okay, and I'm going to press that in here with the stick, set it down. I'm wanting to make a grape color, and so I'm going to use both of these. First, I'm going to put 1 drop of the sunshine yellow into the hard gel, and I'm going to put 2 drops of the lime citrus lime green. Okay, just like that. And just stir the colors together so we have a nice even, and see it sticks to my stirring brush, but that's okay. It'll level out. Just go ahead and wipe the excess off. Leave your stick there. You want to have your dampening dish nearby and a lint-free wipe nearby. And we're going to work with this brush first, but before we do any of that, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to put this aside, is grab our nail art. I'm going to take a pencil and we're going to outline the grapes. This is going to help us guide our gel beads to create that grape shape. So first take a pencil and make a nice circle like that. And then I'm going to make another nice size circle, okay? And then I'm going to make a third nice size circle. So I go all across. I'm going to put 2 underneath here, like that. And then I'm going to put 1 like this, and I can even put an extra one like that. Now I'm going to take, it's going to be connected to a vine, so I'm going to stretch that out, and this is going to be my guide. So the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to dip my little brush, and you don't want a lot. First we're going to set the boundaries. First, we want to make sure and put just the coloring to fill in the bubbles, to fill in those circles. All right, we want to have something, as we go higher and higher and bubble these, we want something to have, you know, a foundation to work with. So just a little bit. Because if you put too much, it'll start to run and bleed into the other. It will self-level, and this is where you don't want it to go beyond the boundaries. So I'm going to go and flash cure this for 10 to 15 seconds. The next thing I'm going to do is, again, grab that same size 4 brush, and I'm going to pick up just a tiny little bead and fill in the next bubble. See how I'm moving my brush? I'm moving my brush in a circular motion. I want to keep a nice even circular sphere. And just massage it so it fills in right where the outline is of the circle that you made. Flash cure for 5 to 10 seconds. All right, so I'm going to keep going until you fill in right where the border of your circle that you made with your pencil. See that? Perfect. And just keep going until you fill up all the bubbles that you've created. Pick up a little small bead, very tiny. Go to your next circle, your next little grape, and move in a circular motion, just making it bigger and a little bit wider. Circular motion, a little bigger and a little wider. Keep building and building on each one until you get a nice fat grape. I'd usually do maybe 2 at a time. I wouldn't exceed that because then they'll start self-leveling. So cure that for 10 to 15 seconds on a flash cure. And then I'm going to keep filling these beads in until I get all my grapes. Okay, so as you can see on here, one of the grapes have merged into the other bead. You want to try and avoid that. I'm going to dip my brush in here and I'm just going to put filler and blend, but very little. It's almost like just putting coloring. Okay? Just very little. No, don't bubble anything. It's just kind of adding the color, the body of the grapes, giving it more volume. And just press in there inside the crevices and the spaces. And then I'm going to use my alcohol here and dip my brush and wipe it off and just wipe the excess and clean around the edges if I need to. And I'm going to freeze cure this for 15 seconds. I want to make this just a little more green. And again, I'm going to dip my brush. This is a little more greener than before. And again, circle more, put a little bit on top. And just keep building, just little by little. Freeze cure for about 10 to 15 seconds and keep going and just build up on the grapes with a little bit darker green. When I started with a lighter color, and as I build up, I darken my gel to be a darker stained glass, which gives it a little bit of a 3D kind of depth. So what I want to do at this point is take my brush, reach out into the lighter color out here, and just kind of do some more filling in, kind of give it that full body. So I'm going to give the illusion that there's more grapes behind it. I'm going to cleanse my brush here with some alcohol, so that way I can go and clean up any areas to kind of refine it some more. Because I don't want the filler to bleed out too much. Just a little bit, right? And you can keep adding depth to these grapes. You can keep adding more little beads, but we really just want a nice kind of 3D bubble look to them. So after I've done that, I'm going to freeze cure for about 15 seconds just to get that solid. In the meantime, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brown polish, little tiny dab right there, okay, because that's all I need. Detail brush. I'm going to dip it in alcohol and just get it saturated and clean, okay? And we're going to be using these 2 colors here. I want my stem to be this dark brown color. All right. I'm going to cure that for a good 10-15 seconds. Then I'm going to create leaves. Now the leaves got to be a different color than the grapes, so I'm going to use this different green. This is giving this stained glass effect, right? And I'm just going to reach in and go out, create like a little leaf. It's a nice stained glass leaf. I'm going to dab in that green again. A little darker, a little thicker. I'm going to go ahead and freeze cure that. And then I'm just going to layer that so it gets the nice and thick for me. I'm going to dab in here and wipe off the excess. I'm going to go ahead and cure that for a solid 1 minute. You're cleaning your brushes after using a hard gel or even gel polish when you're doing any sort of nail art. Alcohol is your best friend. It can damage brushes, but it can also save them, and they're perfect for when you're working with gel. So I have this brush I've been using pretty intensely. I'm going to really get my brush saturated in that. I'm going to wipe any excess off, saturate, wipe any excess off. I have a lint-free wipe, which is really helpful to have. Wipe, wipe, wipe. See, it's coming out nice and clear. And then I'm going to just hold down and smush and hold that in place and shape my brush back. And then these brushes are good to be stored. You want to store them in a dark space. And they'll last a long, long, long time. All right, so now I finished my stained glass grapes using a hard sculpting gel with a alcohol ink, which gives a nice stained glass effect. I also made it a little 3D, so it kind of pops out, looks really cool. And now I'm going to use a UV LED no wipe top coat. I always recommend that you always use a no wipe top coat. Makes your life so much easier. And then I'm just going to gently put a little dab of the shiny top gel coat. Just rub it into the grapes. All right, and then I'm going to cure that for 1 minute. All right, so I hope you enjoyed my green theme stained glass grape tutorial. This is a few different iterations. I did use a background on this one. I do find it more fun to have it clear. So give it a shot. It's a lot of fun.